Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Let's go back to Friday, where the Brewers picked up a 5-2 win over the Pirates. Quinn Priester picking up his 12th win to improve to 12-2 on the season. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts for him. Another fantastic performance in the Brewers, continuing that streak of wins whenever he starts a game. Man, Quinn Priester. I know we've talked about him off and on and just where would this team be and such, but Quinn Priester, dudes and dudettes, just how awesome and how big of a surprise has this guy been for this ball club this year? I mean, so super impressive. Super impressive. 10 total hits for the Brewers back on Friday night to put up those 5 runs. You had a couple hits from Turang in the leadoff spots. You had Contreras adding a couple hits, and Bowers, who we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit, he also collected a couple hits, hitting in that DH spot. We were supposed to see Yelich. That was kind of the hope to see him this weekend series, but didn't, and I think a lot of it just because was the Brewers were winning and they were getting contributions from guys like Bowers and that. But the Brewers picking up that 5-2 victory and taking advantage of some errors from the Pirates. The Pirates had 3 total errors in that game. But then followed up with a 4-1 victory on Saturday. Brandon Woodruff picking up his 6th win to improve to 6-2. And Woody went 6 innings, giving up just 2 hits, no walks, 8 Ks. A solid, impressive performance from Brandon Woodruff. And you go back a couple other starts, I mean, Freddie, Priester, Woodruff. If those are, in fact, the 3 starters when the postseason starts, they continue to pitch like this. How are you not excited? How are you not confident going into that series? Whatever series it may be. Bowers picked up a home run in this game. He collected a couple more hits. Chirio had a home run in this one for his 19th on the season. 8 total hits for the Brewers. 4 runs that scored, and it was enough. Aaron Ashby picking up his 3rd save of the season. And then yesterday, it was getting talked up with 2 young flamethrowers going at each other. Mizorowski and Bubba Chandler for the Pirates. But it was Miz's day. Brewers went after Chandler right away, putting up 4 runs in the top of the 1st inning. In fact, the Brewers, of their 10 total runs, 9 through 3. And the Miz, little control issues, couple walks there in the 1st inning. It's like, oh, maybe be lucky to hit 5 innings with Mizorowski. Mizorowski went 7 innings, and the Brewers went out there and allowed him to throw over 100 pitches, 108 total pitches for Jacob Mizorowski yesterday. That to me, because I mean, ever since the Miz has been up, we've talked about outside of his fastball and just how powerful he is. It's like, how are the Brewers? And the Brewers have told us this too. Pat Murphy has told us this too. Matt Arnold has told us this. How do we manage the amount of pitches? How do we manage the innings? Do we got to be careful with him? You know, we want him available for the postseason, but how do we manage this? You know, because he hasn't gone over 100 innings or 200 innings or 150 innings throughout any point in his career. Kind of have to manage this. And then what do they do on September 7th? Guy goes 7 innings with over 100 pitches. That was impressive. I did not think we would see Mizorowski at all pitch over 100 innings this year, or 100, I keep saying innings, 100 pitches at all this year. And he did that. He settled down nicely after that 1st inning. Final line was 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 Ks, 1 earned run. Payamps comes in, and then Yoho closes it down with 2 Ks in the 9th inning. Turang getting a couple hits. Vaughn collecting 4 hits in this game. Bowers collecting a couple of hits again, playing right field in this one. I mean, you looked at that outfield, and it was, again, a lineup that you're probably thinking, no Frelick, no Chiriot, no Yelich, Contreras is hitting in a DH spot. All the Brewers did was put up 9 flipping runs in the first 3 innings. That's all. I mean, how many times have we talked about this, or how many times have others have said, going into that final game of the series? And we get it. We understand it a lot. Every team does this. It's like, okay, we're going to give, maybe a rest to some of our regulars. Maybe it's not the greatest offensive lineup out there. And all the Brewers did was put up 9 through the first 3. If you'd have told me again, your lineup had Bowers playing right field, no Frelick, Blake Perkins playing in center field. So at least you had him roaming center. Collins has done a nice job in left field. Contreras hitting a DH, so that means Jansen's catching. Been like, not 10 total and 9 through the first 3? What are you on? But 14 total hits for this squad yesterday. If I asked, who gets the game ball from the Brewers this past weekend, I'll tell you, you could go Bowers, because Bowers is on a heater right now. I want to talk more about him and Vaughn and the decision that the Brewers have to make here in just a little bit with Hoskins coming up. You could easily go with him. I'm going to give my game ball to the Miz. Because, again, for what we were saying about Mizorowski, you look at his previous starts and you look at his pitch counts and you kind of like, because what was the talk? Is he going to be better suited coming out of the pen when it gets to the postseason? And that still may be the case. But you look back at August, that game against Cincinnati, inning and a third. Against the Cubs, 4 innings. Arizona back on the 26th, 10 Ks, 5 innings. Against Philadelphia, 4 and a third. Yesterday, 7 innings, 108. Now that's probably never going to happen. I mean, I don't want fans to expect that to be like, okay, now that he's done that, that's the expectation, that's the line. No, that's not going to happen every single time. That was rare to see. But the point that I'm trying to get across here is that you look at what he was doing lately and racking up those pitch counts and for everything that the Brewers were saying to us and what we expected, trying to preserve the arm, trying to, not kind of push the envelope too much, having the future in mind. I was really surprised that they went out there and let him go over 100 pitches. That's what surprised me the most. So, all right. A couple more texts here. I'm not sure what you mean by not game but team. So maybe give me a little bit more context. Noah from Bloomer. My game ball goes to Jeff Hafley for calling an absolute masterclass of a defensive game. Unreal. If he keeps this up, he will be a head coach somewhere next year. Unfortunately, I think that is going to be the case, Noah. Even before the game yesterday, there was a report. Was it from? I'll have to double check, but there was a report that teams were already kind of like doing their homework on Jeff Hafley, like teams that may be looking for new head coaches next year, that they were already kind of doing more. And remember, he did interview with the Jets last year. I think that was his only one. But, yeah, there was one of those, pregame reports that these insiders can hold on to before game start. But, yeah, there's already teams doing homework, and I agree with you, Noah. If this continues, he's going to be a hot name. I just hope he's not a very good interviewer and that he stays as defensive coordinator right now for Green Bay. All right, let's take a quick break. More Brewers talk, though. Let's talk about the decision at hand for the Brewers. How would you handle this if you're Pat Murphy and Matt Arnold? You got a tough decision to make here. Andrew Vaughn, Jake Bowers, Rhys Hoskins is ready to be called back up. The deadline for his rehab assignment is coming up tomorrow. How do you handle this? What do you do? Vaughn and Hoskins are essentially kind of the same, first base, going up against pitching situations. Bauer's a left-handed bat, but, he's been hitting it pretty darn well here as of late too. So how do you handle this? What do you do? How do you split up that game time? Maybe it makes it a little bit easier if Yelich is going through a back thing and you give him a little bit more time off in that, but you still want Yelich's bat if he's ready to go. And again, that's a left-handed bat too. So how do you do this? How good has Bauers and Vaughn been, though, too, as of late? Continuing our Brewers talk, though, and I'm looking for a Brewers game ball, too, from the weekend. If you want to pick Bauers, I would not argue with that. That would be a really good pick over there. But speaking of Bauers, it's almost decision time coming up here for the Brew Crew. As we know, Rhys Hoskins, his rehab assignment ends on the 9th. That's tomorrow. So what do you do with Rhys Hoskins? I would imagine he's going to be on the team, but you only got a couple spots, maybe one spot when Yelich is back to play all these guys. And Vaughn and Bauers are making the decision a little bit more difficult here for Pat Murphy, Matt Arnold, and the Brewers. Jake Bauers, in his last 7 games, .389 average, slugging .611, an on-base percentage of a .450. He's got 7 hits. He's scored 6 runs, 6 RBIs. Couple walks in there, too. He can be a patient hitter at times. And Andrew Vaughn, when he first joined the ball club, on that insane hot streak, right? Quieted down here as of late, but now he's on a roll again. In his last 7 games, he is hitting .360 and slugging .480. And so far, and if you want to expand it, his last 30 games, .268, 3 home runs, 17 RBIs. And now we've got the veteran Rhys Hoskins. How is this all going to work out? I feel like we talk a lot about this in different positions almost every single year or in spring training or something like that, right? Especially like when it's the outfielders. It's like, was that a couple years ago, I think, when we had Joey Wiemer, Sal Frelick, Garrett Mitchell, Christian Yelich, Jackson Cherio, and, it's like, it's Blake Perkins. I mean, it's like, how's this all going to work? It just tends to. It kind of tends to. Maybe it was like starting pitchers at first, like, oh man, who's going to worked out injuries? Feel like more times than not, it has its way of working out. Now, I don't know if an injury is going to happen. We can't predict that. We can't predict whether an injury is going to happen to one of these guys. That'll make the decision a little bit easier and such. But, I mean, let's not factor that into it. Let's assume that Vaughn and Bauers are healthy and still, ready to go and ready to play. It makes the decision a little bit harder in what the Brewers should be doing with this decision. Again, I think Rhys Hoskins is going to be on this team. Like, they're going to call him up in that. It's just now you have to figure out playing time. You have to figure out playing time. Who's going to get the opportunities, the ABs, the at-bats, right? I'm glad I don't have to make the decision right now. Now I want Rhys Hoskins on the team, especially when it gets to the postseason. I want that veteran presence. I want that guy who's been there with his time with the with the Phillies and such. And Adam McCalvy actually a couple days ago answered this fan question about Rhys Hoskins. As he said, Hoskins must be reinstated from his rehab assignment or returned to the injured list by Tuesday. And his fit on the current Brewers roster is, quote, a topic that's hot right now, Pat Murphy said. And as McCalvy noted, the issue is this. Hoskins and Vaughn are so similar. Right-handed bat hitters, first baseman, limited to that spot. The Brewers see value in Bauers' left-handed bat and think that could play in the postseason. And say whatever you want about Seigler, but he offers infield coverage. So how do the pieces all fit? The Seigler one, I understand the infield coverage part of it, but at the same time, you do have Monasterio still in the roster that can provide you some infield coverage. He's played third. He's played short. He could play second. Hell, even Isaac Collins has experience playing in the infield if it gets that bad, if it gets that desperate. So I understand that versatility aspect of it. I don't necessarily buy it 100%. I ultimately feel like the move is going to be that Seigler's going to be sent back down. I'm a little surprised he's still on the ball club at this point, but that he's going to be sent down, and then Hoskins will be called up. But then the issue is just going to be trying to find enough ABs. Because if Hoskins is on the team and on the big league roster, they're going to want to try to get him as many at-bats as possible. Now, could we see maybe more Christian Yelich playing outfield? I don't know anymore because of this back issue. Maybe they don't want him out there as much anymore. I mean, he was getting some opportunities and he looked good in that, but maybe they won't anymore. Because if they put him in the outfield, maybe then you can have a Hoskins or a Vaughn just be your DH for a game here. Ultimately, they'll figure out a plan. It may not make everybody happy, but it's going to be the plan that they're going to run with. I just like the fact that we're talking about a good problem right now. We're talking about some depth. We're talking about options that this team has. We're not talking about, man, what are they going to do for this spot? They've got literally nobody. They're not kicking the tires on somebody who's a free agent and available out there and hoping they can just get something from him, i.e. Donaldson from a couple years ago over at third base. I don't want to be in that situation. I want to be in, if I had to pick, I want to be in a situation right now that they're in where they've got too many maybe options there. Are they the greatest options? Are they the best options? Probably not. They're not like, it's not like they're picking from two all-stars or two all-time greats, but they're options. And they're decent options right now. And I think you just have to go with whoever's got the hot hand. I think that's who you got to go with in terms of who you're going to play, maybe on a more consistent basis. And right now, it's Vaughn. And you got to give a little credit to Bauer for the way he's hitting right now. Because the guy is hitting incredibly well. But it's going to be decision time coming up here. I don't know if somebody's going to be magically put on the injured list. We've seen that at times with a little, maybe bruise or something like that, and then they can kind of, answer the question that way. But I fully expect Rhys Hoskins is going to be on the ball club this week. It's just now it's going to be up to Pat Murphy to figure that out, how that's all going to work out. Maybe a little stressful on the manager to try to figure out ABs, at-bats for everybody. I mean, it's like a youth sports coach. How do I get everybody equal playing time here? But I think you roll with whoever's got the hot bat at this point in time. It's just my opinion. That's how I feel like it should go. Magic number right now for the Brewers. We're getting closer and closer and closer. The magic number for the Brewers to just clinch a postseason spot, just a wild card spot, just clinch a spot, is only 3 games. We want more, though. Brewers want more than that. So, what's the magic number for the NL Central? 12. Remember it. That is a combination of Brewers wins and Cubs losses right now. So it's 12. How about the top seed in both the National League and the top seed in Major League Baseball overall? Why does it matter in Major League Baseball? You want home field if you get to the World Series. 13. 3, 12, 13. Those are the 3 magic numbers to be paying attention to. There is a very, very good chance that the Brewers will clinch at least a postseason spot this week. Very good chance that could happen. And think about this. If you are wondering about could they get 100 wins? Well, you look at where they're at right now. They're 89 and 55. 89 and 55. They just got to win 11 more games to get to that point. They just got to go 11 and 7. 11 and 7. That's what? 4 games above 500? 18 more games left to go in this thing, and they just got to win 11 out of 18 to get to 100. If that's a benchmark that you'd like to see. I mean, it'd be kind of cool, right? See the Brewers get to 100 wins because it's never happened before. But it's possible. And it starts tonight with the Texas Rangers. Let's preview that game, all right? We've got Jose Quintana on the mound for the Crew. He's coming off of a nice performance in his latest start. Can the Brewers go down to Texas, maybe collect a couple more wins, and increase that division lead, which right now, thank you, Nationals, for the job that you did against the Cubs. The Brewers hold a 7.5 game lead over the Cubs for first place in the division. And with a win tonight, the Brewers will be the first team to 90 wins in all of Major League Baseball. There is a chance that the Brewers, okay, I never would have thought this would be possible. There is a chance the Brewers could hit 90 wins before the Dodgers hit 80 wins. Dodgers are sitting at 79. They play the Rockies, but there is a chance that the Brewers could hit 90 wins before the Dodgers hit 80 wins. Nobody had that on their bingo card. Nobody. At this point in time, we're probably putting a lot of trust and faith and confidence into Pat Murphy and Matt Arnold, and why wouldn't we? I mean, they've pushed more buttons right this year than we could probably count. Those two are 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times smarter than me, and probably a lot of us. I won't say everybody. Mark's smarter than me in baseball. But I've got the full confidence in their decision. I've got the full confidence that they're going to, make the right one. And they won't know if it's the right one at that time. They got to make that decision, and we'll see if it ends up playing out when it's all said and done. Tonight's game, Game 1 between the Brewers and the Rangers. Got a little interleague action coming at you. Jose Quintana looking for his 12th win for the Brewers. 11-5 so far this year with that 3.72 ERA. And as what you could probably expect, not a ton of experience going up between these two staffs, or these two pitchers going up against these two lineups. Got a little bit of experience with Quintana. I mean, Rowdy Tellez really has the most experience, 8 at-bats, but he's a big old offer for Quintana, and really everybody else on here is not that great against Quintana, but not the biggest sample size with this. But Quintana's coming off of that really solid game against Philadelphia back in the third when he picked up his 11th win on the season. He went 6 1/3, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 7 hits. So you talk about this pitching staff. I mean, we were talking a little bit about Quinn Priester. Jose Quintana, in my opinion, has exceeded the expectations I had for him this year. I thought back-end veteran starter, maybe kind of hovering around 500, maybe a couple games above 500. He has exceeded my expectations so far. I mean, ERA-wise, I think you look at his career ERA, and that's pretty much what he's been. He's a career 3.74. And this year, he's a 3.72. But he has still, I think, exceeded anything that I kind of had preconceived notions about him entering this season. He's been a nice veteran presence on this staff. There's no question about it. And you just hope that, all right, piggyback off that good start against Philadelphia. Not going to be the biggest strikeout number. That's why 6 strikeouts against Philadelphia, I think, was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, here we go. He's done it a couple times this season. The most he's had in a game was Atlanta when he had 7 strikeouts back on August 6th. Couple other 6 strikeout games, but you're usually looking anywhere between like 2 and 4 strikeouts a game for Jose Quintana. On the other side, you've got Jacob Latz going for the Rangers. He has appeared in 28 games, has started just 5. He's only pitched a little over 68 innings this year, but he's 1-0 with a 3.15 ERA. Now, he's coming off of performance against the Diamondbacks, a no decision, where he went 5 1/3 and gave up 2 earned runs and 5 hits. If you look at August, the 2 games there, both no decisions. One of them he started, that was the game against the Angels, where he went 4 1/3 at 2 earned runs, 1 home run. The 20th against Kansas City, he went 3 1/3, gave up just 1 hit in that contest. Looking at some of the other numbers here from Latz, I mean, he's kind of split some time between starting games. I mean, he only started 1 game in the month of July. The other ones, you know, the 1 game he started in July, he went 5 innings, picked up the actually it was a no decision there, but he went 5 innings against Detroit, 6 hits, just 1 earned run. I mean, numbers-wise, he's been pretty darn solid when you kind of look at it. I mean, July, the most runs he gave up in a single game was just 2 earned runs in a single game. Even back in June, the most he gave up was 2 earned runs, and that was a start against Baltimore where he went 6 innings. So you got to go back to May, 4 earned runs in a game against Seattle. And that was just an inning and or 1 2/3 of an inning. So, I mean, Jacob Latz, you kind of look at some of the numbers, and not bad numbers overall. Not a ton of starting experience, but when he's gone out there, he hasn't really given up too much in terms of the earned run department. So we'll see if the offense can maybe give Jose Quintana a little early run support and maybe put up a crooked number early in this game and get the 90th win of the season for the Crew. You know, we'll see if Christian Yelich is going to be in the lineup today. I know, was it yesterday? Well, the whole series he wasn't in against Pittsburgh, and that was kind of the hope that he'd be back in that lineup. But it seems like he's getting close. I think if he's not in this lineup here, or not, if he doesn't make an appearance in this series overall against Texas, maybe they're just being a little bit cautious because they're racking up the wins because of the performance from Bowers, another left-handed at bat, and he's hitting well, so maybe they could afford to be a little bit more patient with Yelich. You know, maybe don't read too much into it if Yelich isn't in the lineup today or maybe even tomorrow. They may just be like, okay, Bowers is hitting well. He's a left-handed bat. Let's give it a little bit more, give you a little bit more rest, because we want to make sure that you are ready for the postseason, that you are ready to go when it's October, because there's no question about it. For the Brewers to make a deep run in the postseason, they need Yelich to be hitting like he's been hitting for the most part of this season. So Quintana gets a start tonight for the Brewers. If you're looking ahead to the rest of the series, right now the Brewers have it listed as a little TBD for Tuesday, and then Freddie Peralta is going to get the start on a slate to get to start on Wednesday. Then an off day coming up on, is it Thursday? Yeah, the 11th. So before returning home to take on the Cardinals. But just 18 more games. 18 more games here for the Brewers. What's your prediction for these final 18? Do you think they get to 100 wins? Do you think they're going to go 11-7? Do you think they're going to hit that mark? If you're kind of wondering, well, who do they play? What's the rest of their schedule look like coming up here? Well, you got Rangers for 3. Then you've got this series with the Cardinals coming up this weekend for 3 games at home. Then you got 3 games against the Angels at home. Then you hit the road against the Cardinals for 3 games. Then the 3 games against the Padres, and then you wrap up your home series or your regular season at home with the Reds. There are 11 wins in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more series to go? Yeah, 6 more 3-game series to go. That's what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You'd have to win 5, at least 5 of your series to get 10, and then just maybe get 1 win out of one of their 3. So you'd have to win 5 of your 6 series, but get 1 win in another, at least 1 win in another series, or sweep a series and get swept in another one. We all know how the math works.